So graphics processing unit manufacturer Nvidia said that the PS4 is not worth the cost. I wonder why. But before we get to this video, let's get to the question of the day. Alright, so stay tuned to the end of this video to find out the answer to the question of the day. Alright, so I just read this article about Nvidia. Basically, they make graphic chips for video game consoles and computers. And so a lot of, for example, the kind of graphics, the actual, the graphic processing of an actual console, if that's even like the proper term. I'm not an expert on this, but let's say they use Nvidia's technology. That console will run on Nvidia tech for obviously the rest of its, that's going to be the standard that console runs on. And the games are going to be released using those graphics, using that technology from Nvidia. Which is kind of strange. It's kind of funny because they mentioned that they were approached or something along those lines where I think it was Sony that tried to do business with them, and they tried to explain it, and it was just kind of strange. They said it had something to do with the economics of console development and the trade-offs. They've been through the original Xbox, the PS3, and they said something along the lines of, we're building a whole bunch of stuff. We had to look at a console business as an opportunity cost. If we say, did a console, what other piece of our business would be put on hold to chase after that? In the end, you only have so many engineers and so much capability, and if you're going to go off and do chips for Sony or Microsoft, then that's probably a chip that you're not doing for some other portion of your business. And at least in the case of Sony and Nvidia, in terms of the PS4, AMD is basically doing, by the way, apparently they're doing the PS4 chips. So they're the rival company of Nvidia, so they're kind of like neck and neck. It's like Sony against Pepsi, the two rival, I guess, chip makers for, video game graphics and shit like that. AMD has the business and Nvidia doesn't. So, and it's weird too because they mentioned that AMD is having some sort of financial woes right now. Like they lost their Austin headquarters. They sold it for 160 plus million, and somebody calling it uninvestable. And so there's some problems with AMD, and I guess they could use the money and all that shit. And Nvidia sounds like they're not even worried. Like they're just chilling, doing their business. Like, if we can do business, we will, and if we don't like it, forget about it. I don't know, man. That's such a weird thing. They have so much confidence. It sounds like a company that's not in trouble. They don't seem to have any sort of losses. They're not having any financial kind of thing. In terms of, their business isn't down. Their revenue is up. They're up in operating income, net income. Their assets are up. So the value of the company looks like it's in good standing. They're doing good. And apparently, perhaps the new Xbox, the 720, might also use the AMD instead of Nvidia, of course. So there's a possibility that AMD will appear in both the 720 and the PS4. So that's going to be kind of interesting, and we'll see what's up with that in terms of profit margins for AMD. What could that mean for Nvidia? They don't seem to be too troubled with it, though. They sound so concerned about it. Let's see what the fans have to say. PS3 used Nvidia, but it didn't pay off. But Xbox 360 used AMD, and it was really worth it. I guess AMD works better on consoles. What the Oh, I don't know about that, man. 360 graphics are really good, though, I gotta say. And they were able to... it's because the PS3 had, that cell shit, though. Like, it was just a different internal system. It wasn't like a PC like the 360 was. And so I don't know if this guy was that's what he was trying to say, but what do you mean PS3 used Nvidia and it didn't pay off? What does that mean? it didn't pay off. But then somebody else said, I agree. Microsoft got a better card for less of a price. Nvidia got Sony there, but IBM gave Sony a way better process. Alright, there's another comment. I think it's pretty well documented that Nvidia charges too high for their chips on the consoles. I find it funny how they say they didn't want to work with Sony. I'm sure it was more Sony asking them what chips for what price, and then being too high on for them. And offers more for your buck in terms of chips per dollar. Plus, Nvidia is still implementing physics support for AMD's chips on the PS4 anyway. So in a way, they're still helping. If you don't believe me, Google it. I'm not gonna fucking Google shit. AMD Radeon beats Nvidia, but very close margin. I don't care whether it's AMD or Nvidia on next-gen consoles. I just wanted to play games, and now the momentum goes to AMD, and so be it. Look at these fucking geeks, man. You guys are goddamn nerds. Holy shit. People rattling off of, oh, the Tress FX. You know, Krylon 2936. Get the fuck out of here. Good God, man. These guys are fucking geeks. Oh my god. We all need a battlefield with weapons of choice to stand for the glory of Nvidia or AMD. I chose a bazooka for Nvidia in honor of the 690 GTX and Titan cards. I don't know, man. PS4 is the death of AMD. Just like the gaming companies getting owned making games for the dead PS Vita. Oh man. Yeah, that's a shame. The PS Vita got dragged into this somehow. I can't wait until a more competent company brings back ATI graphics for the dying AMD brand. I'm getting sick and tired of these fucking graphics idiots talking shit about their chips. Alright, bring back 3DFX, man. I'm getting sick. Bring that shit back. I know it was bought out by Nvidia and whatnot, but you know, we need another company, man. We need a, you know, like a third major fucking graphics processing company, you know, a chip company. 3DFX was, you know, back in the 90s, they were doing hot. They were, you know, the top of the line. Bring that shit back. Just bring it all back, man. Anyway, this article's gone on too long, but as far as basically Nvidia, they don't give a shit about the PS4. You know, they passed on that opportunity. Probably a loss for them because PS4 fucking is gonna dominate. It's gonna sell a lot, and it's gonna be a good thing for AMD. AMD is gonna be the next big thing. They're probably gonna beat Nvidia, man. I think AMD is the next. They're gonna be on top. They will win this chips processing war. You know, they're gonna be the best chip making company ever. Alright, so this was the answer to the question of the day.